Arthur was a relic, an old security guard at a forgotten shopping mall, a place that time had passed by. His uniform was faded, his back ached, but his eyes were still sharp. He had one rule: you don't mess with the weak on his watch. One afternoon, he saw a group of teenagers cornering the small, scared-looking boy. The boy was dressed in simple clothes, clutching a worn backpack, his eyes wide with terror. The teenagers were laughing, trying to steal his bag. Without a second thought, Arthur marched over, his presence alone enough to make the bullies pause. "That's enough," he said, his voice a low rumble. "Leave the boy alone, now." The teenagers scoffed at the old man, but there was a quiet strength in his gaze they didn't dare challenge. They scattered, leaving the little boy trembling. Arthur knelt down, his old knees cracking. "You all right, son?" he asked gently. The boy just nodded, too scared to speak. "Where are your parents?" The boy pointed a shaky finger towards the other end of the mall. Arthur smiled. "All right, let's get you back." He walked the boy through the mall, his hand resting protectively on his shoulder, a silent guardian. He delivered the boy to a frantic-looking woman who hugged him tightly. Arthur simply tipped his cap and walked away, another small act of duty in a long, quiet life. He had no idea who he had just saved. The boy was Thomas Davenport, the grandson of the reclusive, multi-billionaire industrialist who owned half the city, including the very mall Arthur worked in. The next morning, a black car, shinier than anything Arthur had ever seen, pulled up in front of the mall. A woman in a sharp suit stepped out. "Are you Arthur?" she asked. Arthur's heart sank. He was sure he was being fired. "Yes, ma'am," he said. "Mr. Davenport Sr. would like to see you," she said. He was driven to a massive estate that looked more like a castle. In a grand library, an old, powerful man sat in a wheelchair. It was the billionaire himself. The little boy, Thomas, stood beside him. "You protected my grandson yesterday," Mr. Davenport said, his voice surprisingly soft. "He told me you were a knight." "Just doing my job, sir," Arthur said humbly. "No," the billionaire replied. "You did more than that. I've spent my life building an empire of steel and glass, but I've forgotten how to build character. My grandson, he's been sheltered, timid. Yesterday, he saw what real strength looks like. It's not about money or power. It's about standing up for what is right, even when no one is watching." He paused, looking at Arthur with a new respect. "I am dying, and I have been searching for someone to manage my entire estate, someone to ensure my fortune is used for good, someone with integrity. I believe I just found him."